or non-beliefs for that matter. Today we're going to start a new chapter, and this is chapter number 2, that talks about the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also it talks about the science of God and His power. If you remember, one of those 5 sciences that Quran contains, or that talks, there are many verses, they talk about again the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and also the favors that He has bestowed upon the humans. And I mentioned to you, وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمُ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمُ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارَ. He is the one who has subdued for you the sun and the moon, the day and the night. There are animals there, there is the air that we breathe, there is all of these blessings that we have. All of these are among the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, there are many verses talking about these favors of God. But here's the thing, before Shah Waliullah talks about the favors of God, he has decided to talk about first the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they go throughout the Quran, where Allah talks about His own attributes. Why? Well, because if you don't first understand who is the one who is providing you with all of these favors, that is like saying that is the second level, but the first level for you is first to recognize the attributes of God. If you don't know who this God is, then how can you accept and how can you view those favors as His favors upon the humanity? So that's why first it's important to understand His attributes. And again here, he does not go into the attributes of God, because that's a particular discipline which is called the Aqidah, that goes into the details of the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sifat dhatiyya, sifat al-uluhiyya and so on. But here I can just mention to you a few things that he has mentioned in this chapter right here, and I'm not going to read the whole chapter, but overall he just summarizes these attributes, and he just gives us an understanding of these attributes mentioned in the Quran. And so pretty much he talks about the attributes of God being unlimited. Like we have certain attributes, right? We have certain attributes. All the attributes that we possess as human beings, they are limited to a certain degree. Then after that, we cannot go beyond that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also does possess attributes, and these attributes are divine attributes, and the divine attributes, they differ from human attributes in respect of being unlimited. But not only that, also being perfect and beyond perfect. I say beyond perfect because to us, perfect, it means something being perfect. Like, for example, giving 100% of your effort into something, and we would consider that you would be perfect in doing something like that. Even though Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can be perfect, but it's not perfection the way how we think perfection is beyond that kind of perfection. That's why I'm saying His attributes are perfect and beyond perfect of what we understand perfect to be. And they're not limited as our attributes are limited as well. Why is that? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, when He describes about Himself, He says, لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. There is nothing like Him. In other words, there is no one equal to Him in worship, there is no one equal to Him in attributes, there is no one equal to Him in anything. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. There is nothing like Him. It doesn't mean only look, like body-wise. We don't even believe that He fits in a form or place or time or anything like that. That's why لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. Anything that we think of, He is above that. And I think we have established this when we talked about Aqidah before. Alright, so then how do we understand these attributes? Because somebody can say, well, you're talking about God who has unlimited attributes and beyond even perfection attributes. How do we understand? Well, He made some of these attributes for us to understand resembling to our own attributes. Not that they can resemble like literally, but for us so we can create an understanding. For example, hayat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala possesses a life. Or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala possesses ilm. وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala possesses hearing. But is it the hearing like we hear things? Absolutely no. Again, it is a divine attribute. It is unlimited. And beyond that is beyond perfection. So all of these attributes is beyond perfection. So there is nothing like we possess. But simply for us, he mentions some of these attributes like hearing, possessing a life. Allah has life. Irada, He has a will. Right? He makes decision, and so on. There are many of these attributes, as I said, I'm not going to go into the categories, but the reason why they are mentioned there is for us to come to an understanding to a certain degree that Allah possesses these qualities, and we can form an understanding, a limited, very, very limited understanding of these attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these divine attributes. And we come to know Him through the description that He has provided for us in the Quran. So when we talk about now, after we finish talking about the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Imam Dahlawi talks about the favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran and the signs of His power. So we come to know Him based on the description that He provided for us in the Quran. And we come to know about all of these favors based on what He has mentioned in the Quran. And I'll read to you one thing very quickly right here. He only mentioned those that ought to have been mentioned, such as the creation of the heavens and the earth. Now these are among the favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created for humanity. First thing that He's mentioning here is the creation of the heavens and the earth. How He showers rain from the clouds. How He brings forth springs from the earth for us, producing fruits, grains and flowers with that water. How He gave the inspiration for various indispensable skills and crafts for humans to live comfortably, and also created the ability to practice and also pursue them as well. So these are some of these favors that are mentioned in the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is getting our intention to recognize. Why does He do that? In order for us not only to recognize Him as a creator, but also in order for us to be thankful servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when you don't understand and when you don't look for these favors, then you have less chances of being thankful to God. Just in a one-on-one connection with another human being. If another human being does many things good to you, but unfortunately you as an individual, you close your eyes and you don't see those favors, you're not going to thank that person, even though he does good things to you. But when you open your eyes and when you pay attention and you see all of these favors, all of these good things that somebody is doing to you, then automatically in your nature as a human being, you would be thankful to that person. You would appreciate those good things that a person does. So in the same way too, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings to our attention these favors in order for us to be among the ibadullah al-shakirin, as He calls in the Quran, among the servants of Allah who are thankful. We ask that He makes us among those, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.